is directed by Steven Spielberg and is based off the popular novel by Peter Benchley, who also wrote the film, and tells the story of Amityville Chief Police Officer Brody, Matt Hooper, and Quint trying to take down this shark that has been terrorizing the locals of Amity Island. Jaws is considered one of the best films of all time. It is one of the biggest blockbusters and one of the first big blockbusters of its time. It was one of the first movies to gross $100 million and has spawned a whole subgenre of shark films in which there are like Sharktopus, a Mega Shark, and Sharknado. And while there have been some good shark movies like The Shallows or even the sequel to Jaws, Jaws 2, none have been able to quite capture the same level of character, intensity, and horror that the first Jaws did. This is also a bit of a departure from the book. The book is a much darker take on the story, but that is not to say that there are gruesome and intense moments in this film. To start off, the characters. The characters are all great. Roy Scheider does an excellent job with Brody. He embodies the everyman trying to do the right thing at any cost, trying to make sure the people of Amity Island are safe, and is doing his best to keep his family happy and safe as well. He is a really likable character, and what makes you root for him is the townsfolk. What I love about the town is that it feels like a character within itself. The people running the mayor's office and making all the decisions behind the scenes. Each of these people, even the ones with no names, have very specific personalities. And the mayor himself, played by Mary Hamilton, is absolutely hateable in all the best ways, with some character development for himself and natural characterization that makes him a little bit more relatable. But he's basically the antagonist of the film, the real antagonist, just wanting to have people enjoy the beach at any cost, but he is the roadblock that Brody has to get through to try and make sure that this shark doesn't kill any more people, because he's just letting people out on the beaches to try and have fun, and is trying to cover up the fact that he has nothing under control and that this shark is going to kill as many people as it wants until there's no more food in the area, and it will move on to the next island or reef. Quint also is an amazing character. I love his first introduction, in which he talks about being able to kill this shark at the right price, of course. His performance, how he carries himself, what his goal is and his ambitions, all of that is presented here in this one brilliant introduction scene, and is one of my favorite introductions to a character I've seen in a film. And Robert Shaw's performance throughout, especially in the last half of the film, in which Brody, Quint, and Hooper are out in the open ocean trying to kill a shark, he is by far the standout, especially when he gives that famous speech of him being a part of the USS Indianapolis and how he survived shark attacks in that story. That is absolutely haunting and is one of the best sequences in the film. We'll get to the rest of that sequence later, but let's get back to the characters. Matt Hooper is a science guy who came from an oceanographic institute to try and help the town study the shark and figure out what kind of shark is eating these people. And while he was at first there for the money, later on he discovers that he might not just have a great white to study for, but this great white is killing so many people here that he now feels like he needs to stay longer and help these people out. He goes through a bit of a character change in that sense as he becomes less of the college guy and more of an everyday person trying to help do the right thing and is willing to do whatever it takes to do so, while using his skills and his knowledge to be able to help in any way he can, like using the cages or using facts about sharks and to understand them better. And I love Matt Hooper for that. He's a really fun and entertaining character. And Brody's, Quint, and Hooper's dynamic with one another, each couldn't be more opposite to the other. And that is also why this trio works so well. This is my favorite movie trio of all time. I know I love the trio in Jurassic Park or the trio in the Avengers, but this trio is absolutely fun to watch. See them bicker, argue, but also get along. As now we are back to the scene in the boat at night in which Quint tells the story. Not just that, they share each other's scars even after a long day of berating each other and yelling at each other to try and kill the shark, and they don't really get along. In this one moment, they're able to share a moment together. And what also helps this moment work so well is that by the next day, the next morning, they're back to trying to kill this shark, and it becomes even more stressful, which helps make this one scene stand out most. This is one scene in which all these characters all together are just getting along like friends, sharing moments of their lives with one another, of their past, who they are. It is a brilliant scene that's both funny, entertaining, horrific, and heartwarming at the same time. And that's all due to Steven Spielberg's brilliant hand behind the camera and how he presents his characters here. They feel like everyday people. Even Brody's wife feels like a natural human being that loves her family and cares for her family and is not just there to just give support to Chief Brody, but to help ground him back to reality, to help him understand what he is doing this job for, why he's here in the first place. She is there to help him in any way she can get through this difficult time. And for that, she is a really likable character. And usually the wife characters in these kinds of movies, they would be like forgettable. But here, Lauren Gary's performance also carries this character. It makes it all the more likable and interesting to watch, especially with her relationship with Brody. Now to the shark itself. Now, what is interesting about Jaws is that there really isn't much of the shark in the first and second half. While we do get glimpses of the shark here and there, the shark is never fully shown until we get in the Oka, which is a boat that the main characters are on to try and kill this shark. And that mostly due to the shark not working all that well when they were filming the film. The shark mechanic breaks down a whole lot during filming. The animatronic barely ever works, and so they have to use buoys or floats or docks to try and make that as like the shark is there in some way. And to me, that really worked. It kept the mystery alive. You don't really know what it looks like, and that also kind of helps with the shark feeling less fake, because while the shark animatronic, in my opinion, while it doesn't look like a real shark, it still looks pretty good for its time. There are still moments where the shark could look a bit fake and it doesn't hold up as well. That being said, when it is revealed near the end of the film and when they get in the Orca, the shark is still intense, and the attacks it presents and the threat it is to the town people is quite honestly the scariest shark I've seen in a motion picture. Mostly due to how it kills its victims, how much blood is presented in the aftermath. It is just an all-around scary creature. Did I also mention that the soundtrack is also really incredible? Like with Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is what I talked about the other day, John Williams' score for Jaws is absolutely perfect. It is both heartwarming and scary. And the themes for Amity Island, for the shark itself, for Quint, they're all memorable. There isn't a single track that never felt out of place. It is all perfect, it is well composed, and it deserved that Oscar. And by God, it is quite honestly one of John Williams' best works ever. I'm gonna miss that man when he retires. Oh my goodness. The directing is great, as I said. The cinematography is also really beautiful. There's a lot of beautiful wide shots of the beaches, of the environments, of the town, of the shark. Despite it looking fake at times, it is just an all-around beautiful film to watch. And in 4K, it is even better. Jaws is a classic. The music is great. The story is exciting and engaging. The characters are all likable. The shark is scary and intense. This is the perfect movie to watch. It is definitely not for kids. Don't get tricked by the PG rating. It is more so a hard PG-13 film. But if you haven't seen Jaws, please check it out. It is worth your time. It is one of the best movies of all time, and I'm gonna give Jaws an A+. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys next time.